Between the Pages. I'm your host, Grace Randolph, and we're coming to you from Midtown Comics in Times Square. And today we have our first ever double guest episode with Brandon Montclare and Amy Reeder. So, guys, you have a special announcement that you're making today on this show.
We do.
Yep.
Tell us.
We're going to be doing a creator-owned Halloween book this October called Halloween Eve, and we're going to be doing a Kickstarter for it.
Yes, and the Kickstarter launches with this video. So when you go on, and the link is in the video description, and when you go on, you'll see that I've already donated, which means you guys are doing a numbered copies, right, for the first?
Yeah, for the first 100, it's the same price. It's $10, and you get a copy of the book, and you also get a copy of you get a special exclusive greeting card, Halloween Eve card.
And it's a 40-page issue.
Yeah, 40-page oversized issue.
So, like, you're going to be spending close to that, like, you know, around $4 or $5 anyway for the comic.
Right.
So for a little extra, you get a signed copy, right? You get a greeting card.
Right.
And then you get a numbered one for the first 100.
Yeah, the first 100 people to sign up get assigned and numbered.
That's
edition.
awesome. That's a great deal. This is very interesting. You know, Gail Simone just announced this week that she's doing Kickstarter. Kelly Thompson over at Comic Book Resources is doing Kickstarter. How do you think Kickstarter is changing the business?
Yeah, I just think it's making it people connect with the fans directly. I mean, it's kind of the cliche answer. Anyone who pledges will kind of get to be an insider on the whole process until it comes out, and it's 4 months away, and then it'll.
And you have a publisher, you just can't announce it yet, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. So when is that announcement going to be?
In a month in Previews magazine.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and it's one of those where they don't give you money up front, which is why we're doing this. But yeah, I really love Kickstarter. I feel like also it's really making comics a lot more democratic, it seems.
Yes.
Like we're really like getting to the core of what people want a little easier because they're showing us what they want. And
well, also it's interesting because I've been noticing more and more, you'll see it in the news stories all the time, there's more of a push and pull between editorial and creative. You know, where people are getting more and more notes. You read about what happened with Static Shock. You had a little bit of an incident. You see it on the rise where maybe the book that's going out isn't so much what creative had in mind.
No, absolutely, yeah. And I was an editor for a while, so it's I kind of played both sides of it. So,
Would you say it's increased, though? I mean,
well, I maybe I'm not the best judge because I think it has increased because the nature of Marvel and DC Comics being more of a collective have increased in the last 2 years, and I left 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But the movies and the events and everything else, and also I was very lucky when I worked as an editor. I worked for Bob Schreck, so I worked on a lot of special projects, a lot of stuff out of continuity.
Well, also, we're not, you know, editors are wonderful and vital.
Thank you.
Yes, I mean, like, we're not bad-mouthing editors here. I mean, I think editors,
no, it's a necessity of their business model now to kind of be more interconnected, and that requires people to, you know, kind of follow directives from the editor, and sometimes there's creative problems that causes. Very often it causes.
Well, I think it's a thin line, you know, and it becomes what's driving the story, and I think obviously the ideal is when you know, everyone's working together to get a great story out there and to follow the business model. But then I think sometimes you don't want the business model, you don't want that to take over.
Exactly.
You know? So
and there's more than one way to skin a cat, and you know, this is Halloween Eve is a creator-owned book, so it's going to be.
Well, it's very exciting. I mean, I had a creator-owned book that came out,
That's
you know, Superbia, and I thank everybody who picked that up, and it's and it's really great. And you guys showed me some of the preview art for your book, and it's amazing.
Thank you.
I mean, it's
well,
really inventive.
She should say thank you. I didn't.
Well, the
I didn't
story's
do it.
good too.
Yeah,
I mean, I just got a few first pages.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's really nice to see you doing what you do best, which is female characters, I think. We'll get into the creative aspects of the book itself, but why a creator-owned book now?
why now? Well, I've been itching to do it for a long time. I didn't really do creator-owned when I started, but it was still one of those things where I did everything in the book and kind of was left to my own devices, and I kind of missed that. So I'd been definitely itching to do that, and I kept thinking, when am I going to have the bravery to? Because, you know, there's not as much security when it comes to that. And I think just with some recent events and stuff, I just realized that it's not always all that secure.
Yeah.
And so it really just gave me the excuse that I've been really dying to have so that I could go and do my own thing.
Well, you have a wonderfully supportive fan base. I mean, you were on this show before, and you had a lot of great comments, you know, from people who love your work. And and then you're starting out with writing. You did the Marvel Fear Itself,
Fearsome Four,
right? Trade.
Sure.
And so, is this your first effort to do a creator-owned book? Have you tried before? Because I tried a couple times before I got Superbia.
Yeah, I mean, technically, I did a book for Tokyo Pop years and years ago, which was creator-owned.
Oh,
but,
cool. Yeah.
So did you. It was a long time ago. The Tokyo Pop deal was kind of funny and all up and down. But basically, it was our concepts, our creations.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't work together. It was different books. But yeah, so a little bit of experience, but not a lot on the creator-owned stuff.
So this is your first like mainstream comics pitch, you know, creator-owned pitch.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That's fair to
very
say.
exciting, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, you must have clicked on the right idea, because I found for myself it didn't work out until I had like the right idea.
Oh.
You know, I had pitched some other ideas, but they just didn't click. But so why Halloween Eve? What inspired you guys to do a Halloween book?
Well, we talked a lot about it, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do next. And I talked to Brandon several times about collaborating with him. It's nice because he's actually my best friend. And
So sweet.
He brought you into DC, right?
yes, he even brought me into Tokyo Pop. He was an editor there. So, and then he worked under, he's, you know, the reason he got everybody into me for Madame Xanadu and...
A great book.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's
But that
great.
highlights the good aspect of the editor relationship.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, you found a lot of great talent when you were working at Vertigo and
It was
DC.
a lot of fun, yeah. A lot of fun.
Well, and I really felt like it would be nice to have somebody who has editor chops to work with
Oh, yeah.
as well. And he's got a lot of business and publishing chops as well. He owned a comic book store when he was younger.
I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. So
Alternate
You've done-
Realities in Scarsdale. It's still going strong.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, you've done. So you've done all aspects of the business.
Kind of, yeah.
So that's interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
so as not only the writer of the book, but like the business mind.
Well,
what
yeah,
were you
it's
thinking with the Halloween book? Because holidays are great. Are they a great package?
that was part of the thought going into it. One of the things that, and I don't want to speak for Amy, but Amy said, oh, you know, something also contained, a short story,
Yeah.
something, so we can see how it works out. Because Amy is still in demand from Marvel and DC and other publishers. So we said, we'll do a one-shot, but we want to make it enough that it kind of sits, and do Halloween. We'll have it out this Halloween. Ties in with New York Comic Con, which it should be out the day before New York Comic Con
that's great.
starts in
Yeah.
early October. And then something every year that you kind of have to kind of talk about and parade out there as a creator.
You know, one of the things we talk about on this show a lot is getting new readers into comics.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's like, this is a nice thing to go out in Halloween, maybe, you know. So I mean, that's also, I think that's why it's so great to see a book like this coming out, because it's like you look for something Halloween is a tough holiday to pull off.
Yeah.
You know, I've always found that to be. So so I see a comic like this, and I think, oh, this is great. You can give it to someone to celebrate the holiday.
Yeah, I definitely, for me, like, when I think of comics and what I want to bring to the table and stuff, a big thing is trying to get new readers into comics, especially women and girls and stuff. And so this will be something that I think guys will definitely like, but I also think that it'll be very girl-friendly, even to people who aren't comics readers. So do keep that in mind.
So I think definitely, no doubt about it, independent comics are on the rise. You know, it's almost a mini revolution going on in the world of comic books, and it's being supported by people like you who are going on Kickstarter and supporting these wonderful creators. So just for $10, you can get the comic book, which you're going to buy anyway, right? Obviously. So you'll get the comic that you're going to get anyway, plus it's going to be signed by both of you.
Correct.
Yeah. Signed by both of you. You're going to get first 100 people will get a postcard. And
Everyone gets actually a
everyone
greeting
gets a
card.
postcard.
Yeah.
Everyone gets a
Yeah.
greeting. So everyone gets a
Yeah.
greeting card,
Yep.
and it's just it's shaping the industry the way you want it to be. And I think that's something that you don't see in other forms of entertainment.
Right, and there's some other rewards at higher levels. There's some exclusive prints that we're only going to do through Kickstarter. There's drawing lessons with Amy.
So go shopping right now. The link's in the video description, and we'll see you back here next week.